Cool. All right, I'm gonna record this right quick. And then the fifth account is investment B. All right, now this is important. All five of these kind of set the standard for where we're going to be going. Okay. So screenshot this, write it down, whatever you'd like to do. I would love for you to take notes. Let me jump in here and I'm going to go to the MREA for just a moment. Okay. Now, the cool thing about what we've been taught and we've been given in this MREA model is that in year one, if we have a database of 250 people, right? And we are doing our 36 touch the right way. If we're all in on real estate and rocking and rolling, we should be anywhere between 12 and 14 deals per year. Okay. All right. That's the model. That's what we're going in on. Year two, we're going to be anywhere between the 22 to 24 range. All right. And this is just houses. This is the houses overall. And then year three. And this is where we're going to play, and this is where we're going to stay. So listen to me when I say this. If you want to go by this model and stick to it and never want to sell more than this, that's A-okay, because you're about to see the finances on how this all plays out. So this can be anywhere between 32 and 36 homes. And please note that is going to happen quite a bit on the typos on my handwriting. You're going to have to just deal with that during this process. All right. So by year three, we should be averaging 3 per month. All right, 3 per month. And we're going to be rocking and rolling with that. And if you never want to sell more than that, that's okay. There are some monster teams out there that are selling, 3 a day, right? There's some people that are husband and wife teams and they want to grow into something huge. There's other people that, man, I just want to do me. I just want to stay in my zone. I want to live, I want to have plenty of time at home. The idea of a full-time admin with the salary expense scares me, right? I'm not into that. However, I do like leverage on the contract to close and maybe some marketing, leverage that out per contract. All that's great, guys. And this is actually going to showcase to you how powerful that can be if done the correct way. So I am going to call on somebody. I would love to have a participant. You're going to be talking to me for just a minute on this stuff, whether it's a real estate agent or not. Would love for you to jump on here. So somebody volunteer. Who is bold today? Let me hear from somebody.
I'll do it.
Who we got?
Garrett.
What's up, Garrett? I'm glad you jumped on, brother. All right, so Garrett, do me a favor, man. Now, where are you based? And I know, however, I want everybody else to hear it. Where are you based out of normally? Where do you spend the most
time? Nashville, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Garrett's one of our agents here. He's super, super talented. And Jack Diesel. So I got to keep up with him in the gym. All right. So what we're going to do, I'm going to head it over one more time. 7 houses in 7 years, Garrett. I want you to start thinking, Garrett, what is 6 cycles, 14 months? Garrett, what would you say is the average sales price in Nashville, Tennessee?
Was it about $350 right now?
Okay, that sounds good. Average sales price, $350. That's just for regular homes. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Garrett, do you have a calculator on you, or do you want me to do the math?
I have a calculator.
I want you to do 350,000 times 3%. And if you don't know that already, I'm disappointed, because every realtor should be able to do 3% of every number ever made.
That's 10,500.
All right, so we're going to go 10,500 is your average commission. All right, that's just average, right? So I'm going to go over there and do that. Now, Garrett, not every rental is 350, right? We're talking, this is more like resale. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, so if we're thinking about long-term hold rentals, what price range would you put that in for Nashville?
I don't have a whole lot of experience, but if I had to guess, it would probably be anywhere between $200 and $250.
That's a solid guess, Garrett. You're well done, sir. It's like I'm queuing you up right now. Yes, so I'm going to say the investment average is going to be around $250 in this area. Okay. Now I could creep up to $275. However, guys, please know it's all about cash flow. And for me, and my minimum, and this is me, right? My minimum is 400 net per month. Okay, 400 net per month is what I'm looking to make. I don't really think it's a good, this is me personally, I don't really think it's a good investment if I'm breaking even. I don't really think it's a good investment if I'm coming out of pocket anything, or if I'm not gaining enough equity through the home, through the net proceeds, to be able to have my 6 months reserve within the first year. Okay, those are my rules. I want to be able to create each house as a business. All right, it's its own business entity, and how is that business entity performing? Is it a underperforming asset? Is it overperforming? Is it just what I thought it would be? And I've got to assess every single one of them. As you grow your portfolio, please know that when you lump sum 5, 6 houses all together and you judge your portfolio based on the entire performance, you could be overlooking an underperforming asset. And again, that goes back to looking at your expenses, right? If you have 7 homes and this one over here is just cranking away at like $100 a month or something, you've got to really showcase and sell me on, okay, this is compensating for that one because the value, because of the equity in that area, because it's a long-term play, that place is about to pop, right? So really analyze each one of them, and that way you can assess it. All right, let me jump back in. Now, here's the cool thing about this entire program. I see this in every city. I've taught in over 15 cities in 7 states, and it's really cool because I don't want to give you a set average here. However, there is a dramatic difference typically of $75,000 or a little bit more in between the resale, what people are moving into and living in themselves, versus those long-term rental holds. And I agree with Garrett in this right here. Our actual market center average right now is 405. And the investment right here, we actually bought one yesterday, and we got one at 248. That's what we sold it. That's what we bought it at. So it's really cool to be able to have this gap, and I'm going to show you as we go through our finances why that's cool. Now, please know that I'm very realistic in this approach. I'm about to showcase something where if you are not an agent and you're in a different industry on this phone call, you're about to see a lot of money coming in. And yet what I encourage you to do is if you have a role right now when you're, let me get back here for a second. I feel like I don't want y'all just staring at the notepad when I'm talking to you. If you are in a role where your income is a salary, right? Or if you have a salary plus some commissions that you're able to capitalize on, side hustles, whatever it may be, I would like for you to take your income and apply what we're about to do. For my real estate agents out there, I'm about to show you why you need to read this dang book every single day of your life, right? And apply the simple foundational methods so that we can get you to where you get them 3 per month. Now, I'm going to pause right here before I jump right into it. Let me see here. If there's any questions, anything that I've messed up so far is like that. Is it possible? Yeah, anybody on this will get a replay of the recording. And showing the profit per month. Yeah, the profit per month, I think it's Hanan. Oh, I may have messed that up. I'm sorry if I did. The profit per month is my minimum net cash flow, right? $1,000 mortgage, I want to get 1,400 or more. That's what I like. I self-manage currently, so if you have management fees, factor those in as well. And then, yeah, I think I covered them all. Awesome. All right, let me jump back in. Here we go, guys. So if I am at 3 houses per month, okay? Garrett, you still with me, bro?
Yep, I'm here.
Break out that calculator for me, man. So if I'm doing 3 per month, what's 3 times 10,500?
31.5.
My man. All right, stick with me. This is where it gets a little bit hairy, all right? I do not care about gross commission income. In my personal opinion, it is gross, because right when I have it in my bank account, I'm like, I'm rich. And then Uncle Sam's like, no, sir. No, you're not. Give me all that money. Like, give it, right? So we are going to operate solely off net, all right? Solely off net. So on all these, what I do is I take this number times 0.65. I'm immediately giving 35% away to Uncle Sam. So Garrett, hit me with that number, buddy.
There you go. I already lost it, so.
31.5 times 0.65.
Was that 20,475?
20,475. All right. Because it's math, I'm just going to make sure that everybody understands what we just did there. We took taxes out, and we are rocking and rolling with just our net. And I'm going to double check, my man. You got 100% right. So right here is net. Now, that's a lot of money net per month. That's a lot of money, right? However, 3 per month at this price range, that's it. That's it. Now, are there going to be some months where you do better than others? Of course. There's going to be the gangbuster months where you sell 6, 7, 8, right? And there's going to be the months where you sell 1, 2. So we've got to get to that 36 spot for the year. That's the magic of all this. I'm going to show you how to break everything down on a monthly basis. And yet, could we, and I'm going to ask for some interaction here, right? Garrett, you can answer quick. Could we actually treat every check the way that we do our overall monthly income? Every single check we get, we could have percentage based. Do you agree?
Yep.
Yeah. Garrett, you're doing great, by the way, man. You didn't even know you were going to be a part of this, and you were rocking the house right now. So, all right, I am going to take this net, and all I'm going to do is switch the page because I'm running out. So don't forget all this stuff. Net 20,475. Net is 20,475. Now, here's the deal. I talked to you about the bank accounts that you're going to open, right? We have living. We have investment A. We have savings. And let me call it charity. Charity or tithe. Okay? Now, this is the key factor in all this. This is
Investment B.
This is the 100%. I get that. Garrett, calm down. Calm down. All right? Don't get over anxious now, Garrett. Here we go. This is the key to everything right here. All right? What we are going to do, we are going to live off 50%. We are going to invest 30%. Savings gets 10%. And then our charity or our tithe get 10% as well. So Garrett, here's where the math gets super, super hairy. Renee, do you have a calculator in front of you by chance? And I'm picking on y'all because I got only 6 people on my screen, and y'all are the 2 I'm going to mess with right now.
I got you.
Renee, you're going to back up Garrett on his math. All right. So I got 2 people running math today, guys. And if they both mess up, we'll kick them off. All right, here we go. So Garrett, do me a favor. Living 50% of 20,475 is
10,237.50.
okay. What about 30% of that big number? Yeah, Renee, feel free to beat him. That'd be fun.
Was that 6142.5?
All right. Savings, I can do that math, I believe. I got $2,047.50. Is that correct?
Yep.
Correct.
Awesome. Now, if I were to add all that up, that'd be my net. So guys, very basic stuff. Here's the magic pill. Emily is the glue that holds my life together. Emily is my personal assistant, business assistant. She's my business partner. She's my team manager. She does everything. She has my social security number memorized better than I do. All right. When I tell you Emily controls my life, she does, right? Emily also is my budget bully. Emily will not let me have any of this. She lets me have this. And you've got to have somebody, if you can't do it yourself, you've got to have somebody holding you accountable to this, right? Because this is going to create a life by design and that big life for you and everybody that chooses to take this path. Now, here's why. All I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to show you what doing this for 12 months would do. Okay? So, Garrett, I'm going to ask you to do this times 12, 10,237. Renee, take number 2 for me, please.
$122,850.
All right, so 122,850. All right, that's 12 months. Renee, what we got on investment A?
Investment A, you have 73,710.
Say it one more time. 73.
Yep, 73710.
All right. Give me savings.
It's
24,000.
24,570.
24,570. All right. Here we go. Let me recap what you've done this year. All right. Because I love, because I'm always going to get questions. I'm always going to get questions. Marcus, what about my business expenses? What about paying CTC? What about paying the cap? What about this, that, and the other? All right. So first and foremost, if you're paying your cap, I'm mad at you because that means you're not building your profit share tree, right? Disappearing cap exists, and if they don't have it, tell them to call me because I'm gonna make them have it, right? So you should be doing that. However, if you got full cap, let's take a real hard look at 122,850. Let's take a real hard look at that. Okay. Let's also take a real hard look at 73,710. Can you live off a net of 122,850 plus your cap plus some expenses along the way for marketing for such of that nature? It's a choice, guys. It's a choice. Who on this call has to have 10,237 just to survive each month, right? And that's where we go back to that budget and really analyze what are our must-haves versus what are some things I'm willing to sacrifice in order to have that long-term life by design. Now, I'm going to help even more so because we got investment A, right? And we're at 73,710 right there. Now, Garrett, remind me, what was our average rental home?
250.
250,000. Now, if I'm doing a rental property, what is the average down payment for an investment property?
20%.
Okay, 20%. Now, 20% of 250 is what?
What is that?
$50,000. Right? $50,000. So I've got a down payment of $50,000. And here's what I've been able to do. I just bought a house. I didn't change anything about my living. I didn't touch my savings. That's straight cash, homie. That's a Randy Moss reference for all those trying to keep up right now. And then this one, I've already donated. I've given a charity. I've given them a church. I've done whatever I see fit with that 10%. This 50,000, you have 23,710 left over. So guess what, Garrett? Congratulations, man. Your first rental property is actually a little bit of a fixer-upper, so you got it even under market even more. Well, to get that new carpet, new paint, maybe a few luxury items in the house, right? Let's just ball out of control. Let's get some granite in there, all right? A little Dallas white granite specifically. Let's say you dropped another 15 into it, okay? 15 on the rehab. Well, again, I'm going to go back. I still am working out of this account. I haven't gone to my wife or husband or kids and said, hey, we got to take this out. I haven't touched my emergency fund. I'm still working out of this account right here. And on top of this, let's say you had to pay $5,000 in closing costs. Now, this is a lot of money stacking up. However, the great thing is you have prepared for it. You've got that in the budget. Now, have I said anything that's lofty, that's man, that's a dream deal, that's a killer deal, or is that a realistic contract for a rental? What do you think?
Seems realistic.
Yeah.
I bought one, but seems realistic.
All right. Anybody else? Anybody else got any input at this point right here? Like I said, interactive. We're looking good? Man, I just kind of cruised through here. Man, Terrell Patton is looking dapper today. I got to give you some props, bro. I'm so happy to see you, man. Tracy, what you got?
Man,
So is this
is great, man.
anticipating that you could roll your commission into some of these costs, or are you accounting for not utilizing some of that commission towards these costs?
Tracy, man, what a great question. All right, so let me make sure I understand. Look at you. You asked a question we went big screen for. That's a great question. Let me make sure I understand what you're saying. You've approached the sellers and you said, hey, you know, my commission is in here, right? Do I roll commission into the deal? Do I get paid on the commissions? That kind of thing. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Okay.
And those numbers that you just outlined, the 50K, the 15, and the 5, certainly adds up to more than the 7310 for investment A. So are we accounting for using part of the commission to offset that?
No, well, the 50, 15, and 5, they only total 70,000. So I've got
Okay, yeah,
3,700 left over.
Okay, I hear you saying.
Don't be taking my money, Tracy.
Sorry.
Don't be doing that now.
So is that commission, is the goal to keep that commission or to use that as leverage to play with? Sort of what would your advice be there?
So first and foremost, and I learned this from my broker literally yesterday, and I'll just give you a negotiating tip. And Charles /George / Clooney, I'm gonna give you some props here, buddy. I approached a listing agent because I got so excited. It's a lake house. I got so excited. I was like, whoop, I'm an agent. Hey, right? And I immediately started taking my commissions off the table before I started negotiating. Guys, don't make that mistake. I'm still making mistakes. Don't make that mistake. When you go in, assume and let them know I'm taking my full commission. Once you get the deal negotiated, because right, if another buyer was coming in and negotiating closing costs or anything of that nature, act like you are representing a buyer. The buyer just happens to be yourself. Okay. So don't make that mistake I made yesterday. Luckily I was able to rally. However, lead in, get the best deal possible, and then decide what you prefer to do with your commission. Me personally, I kind of like getting a little payday. If it either wins the deal or it doesn't win the deal, okay, cool. I'll figure that out, and maybe it can be a factor. Multiple offer situations, that could be a big factor, right? So I would say on a case-by-case basis. However, I love that question. That's why I wanted to pause, because of the learning lesson I had yesterday. Great question. Great question. Any others before we jump right back in?
Yeah. Hey, Marcus, Terrell here. Hey, what type of things you look for as far as areas of rentals, like, because you keep using the term long-term rentals. So, what are some of your top 2 or 3, red flags on an area, like, to know how the rental market is in that area? What resources do you use for that?
I love that. And what I've done is I've written that down. I would like to get to the numbers and then go back to that, because we're going to have a Q&A at the end. Is that cool? Awesome. You're the man. Thank you, buddy. We will get to that, guys. I promise that, because I definitely want that. I just also want to focus in on the numbers, because I know that numbers can get a little confusing. So while we've got our overall thing here, here's the other aspect of this. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to my buddy Garrett. Garrett is no longer here. I can't go back to Garrett. All right. Renee, you're my bad. Renee, I should have led it with you. All right. So, Renee, do me a favor. When we said 7 houses in 7 years, what did we also say? 6 cycles of what?
14 months.
6 cycles of 14 months. All right, cool. All we've talked about so far, guys, is 12 months. You just bought a property, right? We just bought a property. Congratulations. I'm super proud of it. And it's time to celebrate. It's time to take a little bit of time for yourself. All right. So I'm going to make this little box down here. However, it's super, super important. This is 2 months. This is 2 months right here. All right. The living doesn't change. The savings doesn't change. The charity does not change. The only thing that changes is investment A. Instead of putting money, that 30% in investment A, we're going to use that 5th bank account. It's called investment B. Now, do me the favor. I'm going to go back up here. Renee, would you do 6142.50 times 2, please? 6142.50 times 2.
12,285.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is your new house. The new house that you're going to buy in 7 years for you personally. That house is a long-term play, right? This account is a long-term play. You're going to go ahead and take 2 months and be selfish and say, you know what? I want that dream home. I got a client right now. Who is, oh man, he was just on here. I was going to mess with him a little bit. I got a client that is wanting Wilson County, a pool. He wants an $800,000 home on a $600,000 budget. This man wants to buy champagne for the price of beer, and it's killing me. And I wanted to mess with him. However, I think he had to bounce. That being said, though, he has already started this type of saving, right? And you need to as well, because at some point, 5 to 7 years, you're going to want to bounce out of your house. You're going to grow. You're going to change. You're going to adapt to a different lifestyle, or just want different opportunities, right? So we're going to start doing this. Now, here's the cool thing. 6 cycles of 14 months means that we get 6 of these 2-month periods. All right. So Renee, magic, here we go. 12, 285 times 6.
73,710.
Investment B, over the course of the 14-month or the 7 years, we'll officially have 73,710, just like your investment account always does. How cool, right? And then all of a sudden, that 73,710 can go towards a 20% down payment on the Taj Mahal. Now, Garrett, here's the killer. What does that mean? 20%, 73,000 is 20% of what big number out there?
I have no idea. I'm horrible at math unless I use
Okay.
it.
Well, let me see if I can help us out a little bit. So 73,710 divided by 0.2 is a $368,000 home.
Yep.
Now, we already talked. Let me backtrack here. Garrett already told us the average sales price is $350,000. What you've done in this scenario, now you've got 7 total homes, assuming that you live in one now, right? You got 8, right? So we got 7 total homes. You can easily sell one and double that up and get yourself a $1 million mansion, like my buddy Cody out there in California. He's all bougie. I know he's bougie because he's got land and everything. And you can walk in there, guys, and here's the other beauty of this. We've talked about this on a monthly basis. This, Garrett, you're up.
Yep.
This 2,047.50 times 84, please.
171,990.
All right, I'm going to write that twice. I'm going to ask you one more, okay? Actually, 2 more. I lied to you. 2 more. Give me 6142.50. 6142.50 times 84.
515,970.
And then last one, buddy. 10,237.5. 10,237.5 times 84.
859,950.
Here we go, guys. You worked your butt off for 7 years. You were diligent for 7 years. You sacrificed those big luxury things for 7 years, and you've turned your life by default into a life by design. Now, there's some people for sure on this line that can say they've got $171,000 in the bank account, and I'm very, very proud of you. And there's a lot of people that are looking to have that kind of savings and that kind of life, right? So if we go there and we jump in and we stay diligent, you can have that. Now, please know, I'm not an idiot. There's going to be life events that happen, right? You got to buy that purse. Oh my gosh, we got to buy that. You need to treat yourself. There's also going to be things that may pop up that are unfortunate. Some health scares, a car goes out, a water heater. I love buying those things. It's like my second favorite thing right next to a new AC unit. Those things are amazing to buy. I love doing it. Things will happen. And yet, guys, this right here, this is going to give you that grace. That way, if you have to touch this, you know it's an emergency because you've been living off this kind of income. 7 years. 7 years. Now, I know that we could spend the next 30 minutes, 40 minutes going into all kinds of different, let me go here. We could go into all kinds of different inflation rates. And if I build new construction, if you're on the front end and it goes up, guys, I agree. I love all of that. I love the new construction phase 1, phase 2. Find out how many are going to be in the total community. Ride that wave. That builder's going to give you so much equity, right? At the end of this, I'm only talking about the cash. That's not even talking about all the net worth that you actually accumulate throughout. This isn't even talking about the cash flow from the rentals that you've acquired. And then, of course, me personally, I like the Dave Ramsey approach when it comes to mortgages, right? I'm going to pick my smallest mortgage, and after I get 6 months reserves on each business, AKA each house, the profits, boom, they go towards that smallest mortgage, and I'm paying and I'm paying and I'm paying. And for instance, right now, literally we are, what's the date? We are, I'd say 10 days, maybe. We're 10 days away from refining our properties, all of them, into 15-year notes. Here's the really cool thing. Our payment accumulative, like across the board combined, our payment went up less than $300, and we shaved so many years off of the mortgages. So now we get to just hit that principal like crazy. All right. So let me get in here and see questions, discussions. Have you ever bought new construction early? So you can also yeah, Jenny, yeah, we're right here. Love it. Yes, that's exactly right. I love that. I love finding those new construction spots and judging what my thoughts are and what my feelings, and looking at the resale and saying, okay, they're going to explode. They're going to get there, right? What you could also do is you could go into those model homes and you could say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Sales rep, if I don't buy today, what are your prices going to be next month? What are they going to be in 3 months? What is the takedown rate that you've got with the developer versus what is your average price increase that you've seen? A lot of builders, it is nothing to hear a $2,000 to $5,000 price increase month over month. It all depends on how many sales they're doing. Also, I've seen the whole 10 grand thing where they just jump up exponentially because of demand. So really get that research together and find that. It's a great opportunity though for you, for sure. What kind of questions? Let's talk. What kind of things? Do I need to show any numbers again? What have you seen so far that you like? This is where
Hi, Marcus. This is Parisa.
What's up? How are you?
I am good. I'm in Cali over here. So glad that I saw your invite and I'm on this call. Appreciate all the valuable content.
Yeah, of course.
So I've got a rental property, and it is in the outskirts of LA. So I live in LA County, kind of adjacent to Pasadena, and that is producing rental income every month and taking care of expenses. I do net from that, but very small amount. So that property is owned free and clear. And right now, if I'm going to go make a next step for property number 2, right, to acquire, and I'm not doing it, leveraging that house, meaning I'm not doing a HELOC or I'm not using that equity sitting in that property to buy the next one, and I'm going to utilize just getting a conventional loan, my question is, would you do that today? And again, you're in a whole different market, different state, but I'm only asking to say, would you do that today, if you're me, and I could put in maybe 10 to 15, well, I'm going to do my best to do 20% of the right price point area, right? In California, that's going to take me out of the entire LA market. But would you do that today? Or if I'm doing number 2 and I'm taking that, baby step forward, would you advise wait till Q4? Wait for another few months, wait towards the latter part of this year and see how things are shifting to make that second step, because I'm not going to be an all cash buyer.
So let me make sure I've got clarity around the question. Your main concern is, what is my view of the market because of the current world? Is that what you're asking?
Absolutely. Yep. I'm not a cash buyer, and I don't want to touch that property, meaning leverage that and use a HELOC to get the next purchase. Yeah.
Right. I am, and then I'm not a fan of the HELOC, and that's a whole different discussion, right? However, I do, here's what I like. And this is me. Please know this is one person, right? I like personally when the world is a little in turmoil, as long as I'm in control of the ability to make the income that I'm looking to make. AKA, as a real estate agent, I do feel empowered that I decide how much income I get every single month. Right now, I don't know how it is in Cali. In Tennessee, real estate's wide open still. I know there's some states that shut down, and there's a lot of regulations on what you can and can't do. Luckily, and feel very blessed, we can still rock and roll, and we're seeing upticks. Like if you're showing up and showing out, your business is growing. So for me personally, if I'm in your spot, and that's the feeling that you've got as well in California, I say if it's a good deal, go after it. Because I think there's a lot of people holding back right now. You could really rock and roll. And If maybe it's been on the market or depending on the situation, you probably have a little bit more negotiation power too. The pent up demand, when we get the full clear, right, and we get the green flag and everybody's go, that's going to be a whole lot of competition. So it's very much like what I'm telling my sellers right now. Hey, would you rather wait and be one of 10 in the community, or would you rather go now and set your price and we can really, because there's a lot of buyers in Nashville. So that is a market-based answer. However, just for me, that's my answer.
Well, we've got limited inventory problem, I think, nationwide. Definitely in Cali, I'll speak to that. So that's exactly my price point. My viewpoint and vantage point is, if I wait and we see an uptick in NODs equate to an uptick in foreclosures, if uptick in, oh, wow, we can get a quote unquote better deal out there, well, I'm going to be up against 10 all cash buyers likely then versus maybe 1 or 2 now. Right. But thank you. That really helps frame it. It's just really all about the numbers, and it makes sense for me and what I'm going to net at the end.
My OP says something funny. He goes, it's all about the numbers. It always was about the numbers. It always will be about the numbers. That's all he says every single time. And I love it. And he's right. We could always throw our opinions in there. And yet if it makes money sense, go after it for sure. So
great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Of course. I'm going to put a couple of things out there. I think somebody else had something to say. However, I'm going to read some of these comments too. Thank you, John. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'm ready for you to get to work too, my friend. Yes, sir. And then, it is simple. It's very simple, right? It's money management. Before money management, it's showing up and showing out with the MREA model. And again, we're not talking about selling 300-400 homes a year. This is 36 homes a year. Let's get in. And here's the great thing, and I'm going to go back to this. If we're looking at this, and there's zero judgment here, like zero judgment. All I know though is I can live off less than that per month. I can, I'm throwing in like mortgage, car payment, going out money, some things that I want to do throughout the month. If I decide to stay super lean, I can live on less than that per month. Right? So this is your biggest decision here. So that means even if you're not making this huge net, right, and you're doing a different industry, or maybe you're popping 2 per month consistently, these percentages are where this entire system plays out. Okay. So if you start this program, you can gravitate into this whole thing. Marcus, what does your self-management look like? That's a great question. I'm going to be very blunt and very honest. I am my dad's son in this regard. I am terrible with money. Terrible. The only difference is between me and my dad, me and my pops, is that I know it. So I realized that early, and I said, okay, I need a budget bully. And I literally handed everything over to my assistant. I know that not everybody may today have that luxury. However, you do have somebody in your life that you can either hire or that you can lean into for that leverage piece. Let me say hire, you can easily get a bookkeeper. And okay, a bookkeeper costs $300-400 a month, depending on who you go with and what they're offering you. Okay, cool. What's more valuable to you? Spending $3,000 a year in a purposeful attitude towards savings, or never getting on track and never having a system in place and never implementing this? Another thing is, if you want to even talk to your market center, whenever they hand you a check, talk to your MCA, talk to your director of first impressions, whoever is going to have your back in that market center, and literally have them do the math for you on every one of your paychecks or every one of the little the envelopes they hand you. Go to the bank, have this set up, and say, hey, banker, do this for me. Put it into these different accounts in this structure, and just go. I get it. Like, there's some people here, and trust me, I've been there. Like, that next check is going to get you out of a jam, or it's going to get you set up into something else. I get it. What I'm saying is, got to start sometime and got to start some way. So do the best you can in starting to implement these systems, even if it's small. Get the account set up. Get the paycheck after the paycheck. Get that one in this, right? Put $10. Do something to start. And yet that self-management, that's a great question. I have somebody hold me accountable. Same for the gym, right? Same for my finances. Same for lead gen. Same for everything. That's why one good thing about having business partners. And then Rick, my man, do you set up an LLC for each individual property, or how many properties do you put in LLC? I top it out at 5. I talked to my legal team, and they said do 5 and then roll over to another one. The only difference, though, that if I go state to state, so I've got one in Florida, I've got an LLC in Florida, I've got an LLC in Tennessee, and I've got to have an LLC in Kentucky. So anything out of state, Georgia as well. Anything out of state, I have a different LLC for. And then if you go businesses, different LLC for the businesses. So anything else, guys? Anything else? This is your time. This is your time to bounce questions off. I wish I could tell you like there's more to it than this. There's not. It's a simple approach, and yet it's exceptionally powerful. Warren Buffett said money is easy. You just got to be patient.
Hey, Marcus.
Easy. Go ahead.
Joshua Chu from Greenville, South Carolina. How you doing?
What's up, man? Good to see you, Bo.
Yeah. Well, not really, but you see my name.
Good to hear you. Great to hear.
Yeah. Good. So you just mentioned some out-of-state properties. How do you go about evaluating whether that, the market is good, the area is good? Do you have contacts in those different states, or just tell me your process.
Yeah, most definitely. I don't go blind anywhere, right? When I go out of state, I actually get a little bit more analytical with the numbers. Because obviously in Nashville, I've got a pulse on it. I've been here my entire life, right? I know trends, I know conversations, I know infrastructure, I know all that stuff. And yet when I go out of state, I challenge the person that's helping me quite a bit. So I typically get a real estate agent. When I call ahead and say, hey, I need the investor type real estate agent. I need somebody that's going to show me cap rates, going to show me rental rates, the whole deal. And no offense to anybody that's out there that is new. However, I would not go with a rookie agent on that, because I want to make sure it's not a lack of work ethic. I want to make sure that I know somebody. And typically I ask for somebody who's from the hometown,
Sure.
just because it's smart. I also go visit. I've never bought a property just blindly.
Okay.
I go get a feel for it. So went to Florida a few weeks back, and we spent some time. I was at the beach for 30 minutes, to give you for instance. I literally stayed on the beach, and I was at the beach for 30 minutes because it was I wanted to see the other things. The other things were more exciting. So I really got a feel for everything. Saw the new construction, did the whole deal. A lot of recon. So
Okay.
That's me. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, man. Picture what you would do for an out-of-town investor, and then do that for yourself in another state. That's what I would say. I am going to touch base on the question I got earlier from Terrell. It's long-term rentals and what I look for. Buddy, here's my, again, this is one tactic, one way to go about it. Maybe I should put this down on the screen. Let's do that. Let's put it on the paper. So long-term rentals. Marcus, what do you look for? I look at the schools. I look at the rent roll, or the rent rate, I should say. I'm sorry. Remember, minimum 400 net. I'm going to put net in big letters. Net. All right? That's what I'm looking
Can't see the paper.
Oh, you can't? Did I mess it up? Is the paper not there?
Looking good
Oh,
here.
I see you. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. All right, cool. So I've got schools, rent rate. I'm going 400 net, and that is per month, my friend. I am looking at the past 24 months inflation. I want to see what this house was worth 2 years ago. I want to see what it was worth 12 months ago. I want to see what it was worth a quarter ago, so on and so on. I want to make sure that it is on the uptick. And I also want to check into any infrastructure. When I say infrastructure, guys, and hopefully I spell it right on this dang video, or y'all gonna make fun of me. When I say infrastructure, is there an R in that? Don't make fun if there is. If there is infrastructure, when I say that, I'm talking about commercial property. Is this still good? Can everybody see this right here? Okay. All right. When I talk about that, I'm talking about commercial property. I'm talking about businesses going into the area. For instance, there's an area of Nashville that I'm a big fan of, and it's called the Buchanan District. And my buddy, actually, along with the two of his friends, I played Little League with him. His name's Clint Gray. He started a pizza place called Slim and Huskies. And like, you got to look for places like that become super trendy, super popular, breweries that pop up in Nashville. Man, it's like you can create a whole dang town around a brewery here. I have no idea why. And yet that's Nashville, Tennessee, right? You've got to know your city and you've got to see the trend. I'll tell you this, if you can get a meeting, one of the most powerful things you can do is sit down with a local councilman. Terry, you can sit down and I'll tell you the lead in. I'll tell you the lead in that will get you any kind of meeting with the councilman at any time in your life. Tell them, hey, I'm working with a developer and I want to talk about your district. Oh yeah, let's have a conversation. What they heard you say right there, you've got millions of dollars. Now, I'm not saying lie. What I'm saying is go find a developer and say, hey, if I can find you a deal, would you work something? Yeah, of course. They're always going to say yes. Then you call that councilman, right? So be honest. The councilman will tell you not only what's coming, they will also tell you what they desire to have in their district and what they're working to accomplish in their district. Okay. The beauty of that is twofold. One, if that councilman either is a long-term councilman or somebody that's got some power, got some clout, got some pull, they're most likely going to get close to accomplishing that goal, right? Or they at least move in that direction. That may open opportunities for you. That way you play middleman, get some money out of it. Another thing is you just get a lot of facts and figures. And whether it's you buying in that area or you pouring into the investors on your group and in your team and in your database, that's going to help you no matter what, right? Here's what I also tell you. If you make a win for your investors because of those things and what you're doing to find for yourself, really, if you make a win for your investors, they will always come back to you. The coolest thing is talking to an investor at the beginning of that relationship and them saying, well, I'm not going to hire you. I'm an investor. I'm not going to commit to one real estate agent because somebody else might find a deal for me. And then you show up and you show up and you show up, right? And you deal, and they start making money. Well, then all of a sudden that loyalty changes, right? And they find a deal and they're calling you. Hey, Marcus, we're about to write this up. Can you do it for us? We want to involve you, right? So that's a really cool shift. Terrell, did that answer it well enough, bud?
That is definitely right. Was dead spot on, man. Thank you so much.
Of course, man. Of course. Let me get into this. I got Rick's done. Who do you have on your crew for property management? For me, with our properties, I've got a business partner that loves numbers. Go get them. All right. And I've got an assistant who handles all of the ins and outs. Right. The only thing that I do on that side of it is advise. And then sometimes part of the negotiation of the lease, sometimes. So we'll collaborate as a team and then they get going and get in action. Jonathan King, Joni, what are your thoughts, opinions on real estate syndicates as a tool to invest? My friend, are you talking about REITs? I think you can hear me. Like real estate, yeah. REITs? Okay, perfect. I have this show my cards, right? I don't know everything. I don't know everything there is to know about a REIT. I would say you would have to sit down with those individuals and make sure that you have a certain guaranteed return. You know exactly what they're investing in, whether it be single family versus commercial, whether or a little bit of both. I'd go into that. It's not a world that I have ventured into yet. So I don't want to deny it, and yet I don't want to give you advice on something I don't know. So sorry, I'm no good to you right now. So.
And you can't find my house. So
I can't find that. That's my champagne buyer, by the way, guys. That's him. That's it. All right, cool. So, all right, guys, anything else? I want to make sure that we answer any questions that you've got. I'm going to go back to this just so y'all can take a second peek at it. Oh, and side note, we are putting together a kind of a pamphlet. I don't know what else to call it. We are putting together a chart that showcases this right here. That way you can have that. And just like we say at Keller Williams, if it's gold, only the way to accomplish that goal is to stay in relationship with it. So if you would like that, let me see. My man Evan can help me out. Evan, are you anywhere on this phone call? Or Edward? Either one of y'all, if y'all could put my book me in the chat for the team here. And guys, and what we'll do is we're going to send this out to you. Just plug away, just contact me, and we'll make sure that you get this. And it's really by staying in a relationship with your goal and seeing this over and over. I want you to put this somewhere where every time you get paid, you see this as well. And okay, so it may sound cheesy for some people. However, to me, it's not, because I saw the power in it this past year. My assistant, when she first joined me, of course, we do vision boards, right? Because I believe that if you see it, it becomes more real. If you write it down, it becomes more real. The more real it gets, the better it gets. And the more you just naturally gravitate towards it. She recently, with her husband, obviously, they bought one of those big campers, like big campers. I'm not talking like just throw it on the back of a SUV or minivan and roll. No, we're talking about a big camper. She hadn't let me use it yet. I don't know why she's so mean to me. But that being said, she had that on her first vision board when she first started with me. And she bought it and she celebrated that. And guys, there is nothing better than hitting a goal like that by being diligent with your finances. So that was a huge win. And I encourage you to do the same. Put 7 houses on the board and just start marking through as you knock them out, right? Year by year, and just keep revisiting. And it's all about that consistent due diligence. So, all right. If there's nothing else, we're going to bounce. I'm going to have the recording. We'll post it up and we'll make sure everybody gets it. That way you can refer to it and rock and roll. I see some killer players on here. The Shark is here. Oh my gosh. The Shark is on I got to brag one time. The Shark, her name's Tia, and she was in one of my very first bowls, like very first. She came in. I remember she called me. She goes, "Marks, I ain't got the money for bowl." Yeah. I get that every city. All right, let's talk it through, right? And she jumped in. She did everything. Tia, was it 21 listings during bowl?
Yeah, I think it was. It was around there.
20?
So.
Well,
Yeah.
I've told the story for 2.5 years saying 21, so we're going to stick with 21, okay?
Yeah.
And I don't think you delegated buyers at that time, too. So
Yeah, I gave them to my partner. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I'm super proud of you, and I know you've been growing like crazy even more so. So
I'm starting over again. So in
Yeah.
a new. Oh,
well, I got no problem with saying that the Shark is going to make it just fine. So
thank you. Appreciate you.
That's awesome. Well, guys, I appreciate y'all's time. I'm proud of you for being here, and I look forward to all those success stories of seeing y'all's rentals and purchases and everything. I look forward to it. Oh, I see you waving. That's awesome. See y'all later. Thanks so much.
We love you, Mark.
You.
We love you back. We love you back. See y'all.
Bye. Thanks.